Well, thank you very much for joining us. We're here to talk about the fabulous Sunmark Internship program, and I'm joined by Trinity Wallace, who has had an amazing experience on this program. Trinity, thanks ever so much for coming to talk to us about it. So tell me about your particular internship. What was it? What was the program? And what was it that drew you towards it?
Okay, well, the thing is, you always see people like walking by and everything, and you never know like what people are going through. So I think psychology kind of allows you to get that kind of insight and gain those personal experiences with other people and bonds. Yeah. So this particular project that I did really drew me into it because it was about marriage.
Wow.
Yeah, very deep.
That's great. Yeah. And so what was the internship? Where were you and who were you working with?
I worked with Miss Devika. She's the counselor downstairs. Yeah. Basically, I had to read a book. It was called The 7 Principles of Marriage. And I had to kind of break it down in my head and really get a good personal understanding of it, even though I'm not married.
That's incredible. I mean, that's really great experience. So Devika Mankani is the chief psychologist here at Fortis Education, and is also has her own clinical practice outside. So, you know, you really were in the hands of an expert, but also you were looking at probably the most difficult subject to be working in terms of marriage counselling. It's big business nowadays, I think. So that's really wonderful. So you understood what it was that motivated you in terms of an interest in people. Yeah. Have you had that interest for a long time, or is it something that's come to you in maturity, or from being small, have you always been interested in how the mind works and how people work?
Yeah, I mean, you know, ever since I was younger, it was kind of like you look around and you see people and you're just like, okay. Because my parents kind of do this thing where they like to people watch. So, like, I kind of got that from them where I'm like, what are you going through?
So you've grown up as a people watcher and now you're contemplating a profession. So how long did your internship last?
Actually, it's still going on. Like, she's given me this project, and I think she's going to use it in one of her talks or something.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, and she's looking to give me more projects and jobs going forward.
That's really great. That's it's wonderful to see that you've got that sort of link. Did you go in cold on day one? So on Friday you weren't on the internship. On Monday, hi, you know, my name's Trinity, or was there sort of a build up to that and a preparation for the start of the internship itself?
Oh no, I'm not that brave. Actually, my mom, she got me into contact with Miss Devika. Okay. Because she works in the nursery and she.
Okay, so you're able to sort of warm yourself up into that relationship. That's good. So okay, let me understand it, and if you can help me picture it. So, were you based on the school site, or were you off-site somewhere? What was the environment? How did you make it different to school, or how did Devika make it different to school for you?
I think because there's like a whole other side to it when you're on the other side. Like, I would have never understood the depth into how counselors run in this school if I didn't do this internship. And it was really refreshing because it helped me learn a lot, and I'm excited to use those experiences into my future.
Yeah, I mean, I think with many jobs, and as we speak to students about their internship experience, many of them echo that sentiment that actually the world of work often looks like a swan just gliding by on the river, but furiously feet are paddling sort of underneath and behind the scenes. So you talked a little bit about having a project. Just tell me a little bit more about that project, and how did Devika make you feel as though you weren't just a spare part, you're actually a significant part of something?
I think it helped because it was on one-on-one, and she really talked to me like I was an adult. I felt like I wasn't a little kid, and she had so much like trust and responsibility in me, and I really appreciated that and respected that.
that investment in adulthood, so nowadays in education we call, how old are you now, Trinity?
17.
17. Nowadays we call people of your age young adults. And so I think that's really important because you're very much in transition. You're just coming to the end of your school life, and then you're going to enter into university life and the world of work beyond there. And so it's very important to have that sort of transition. In fact, even the sixth form centre has been designed to not feel like school, so that actually it just feels a bit cooler and gives you a bit more autonomy and empowerment. But it's quite difficult, isn't it, to, especially I imagine within counselling, to recreate a situation for you where you felt as though you had an insight into what it might be like to be a counsellor. So apart from receiving guidance and stimulus and this very adult peer-to-peer connection that you had, what was it that Devika was able to do to give you a sense of, oh, okay, this is what it will be like, and I'm struggling with a bit of this, and this is a challenge to do this. How did she create those opportunities for you?
I think it's kind of like when you sit down and you talk to someone, especially an amazing counselor like Miss Mankani, she kind of like incorporates you into her everyday life, which is something that I really like. Like, it was amazing to experience because you get an insight of this person's life and you kind of learn through them, if that makes sense. Like, she would just be there talking and I'd be like, I never knew like it was this deep, like your job and everything, so it's a... So
you were able to see these sort of layers of an onion being peeled back and saying, gosh, I didn't know all of this lay underneath. We hear that a lot. So what struck you as interesting or even caught you off guard about yourself? Did you learn things about yourself as a result of going through this experience?
Yeah, I mean, before I met her, I never thought about the other sides of psychology. I only focused on the mental side. When she taught me that there's so much more to life in psychology than just that. There's clinical psychology, forensic, there's so many different things you can go into. And it really like amazed me because I never knew that. So I ended up finding an interest in new things, which I never thought I would.
And I guess that gives you options that you hadn't considered before.
Yeah.
Great. So what's the plan? What's your life plan from here through that last bit of school education into university? Is counselling now likely to be part of that, or psychology likely to be part of that, do you think?
Definitely. I've grown up around it, lived around it. It's something that I just find so fascinating and I can't get enough of. So
great. So wonderful to have that first insight, I guess.
Yeah.
So if you had to give any tips to other students that were contemplating internships, do you have any tips? What sort of attitudes and psychological approaches should they adopt, do you think, Trinity?
Follow your heart. My mom always tells me that. If you don't enjoy it, you're not going to put your all into it.
Great.
So follow your heart. Do what you got to do in the end. Hustle through it.
That all sounds like really good professional thinking. Trinity, thanks ever so much for spending time talking to us all about your internship. Congratulations.
Bye.